that's propping up Trump right now is the belief that he can beat Biden. And now there's starting to be data out there in Wisconsin, which for your viewers and listeners is now the most important state in America. Wisconsin is the state where when you run computer simulations, that's the state that gives you the presidency. And the fact that Donald Trump can't win that state right now, but Haley and DeSantis can, if they can't make that sale to the Republican base, there's no sale to be made. I still think this primary is already over and they're competing for the VP, Joe. But, tonight's the night. They've got to move here.
You do believe the primary is over. You just answered my next question. So this whole exercise tonight is one in vain, just in case something bad happens to Donald Trump?
Donald Trump has the largest lead of any primary candidate in our modern lifetime. Now, let's not get too excited about that. The previous record holder was Hillary Clinton over Barack Obama in 2008. I don't think we're going to compare DeSantis and Nikki to Barack Obama. So, I'm to quote the great movie line, there's still a chance, Joe. But he's over 50 in all of these. In Ron DeSantis's home state of Florida, there was a poll out yesterday that showed Trump leading him by 39 points. And so that just shows you the hill these folks are climbing up. And at some point, their version of me is going to walk in the room and say, hey, can we have a private conversation? Do you think you're running for president or do you think you're running for vice president? Because that is a whole different thing about what you say about Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying there's a chance. Spending time with Jim Messina, I was taken by a tweet from Larry Sabato. Jim, he's going to join us later on today on Bloomberg TV, and he was reacting to the Virginia election results, which I'd love to hear from you on. Of course, a lot of folks thought this would be a make or break situation for Glenn Youngkin. A lot of folks thought it would make a potential presidential campaign if Glenn Youngkin, the governor, could run the table, turn the legislature red. The opposite, of course, happened. And as Sabato writes on Twitter, clearance sale. He writes, Jim, all Youngkin for President 24 merchandise. A free My Pillow comes with all purchases over $1. No returns. Did Glenn Youngkin just surrender his chances to be president?
Oh, absolutely. And I think he kind of had already because he wasn't running. And
is that just for this cycle or ever?
Oh, I don't know about ever. Voters don't have that long. But, he was styled as the guy that could unite the party, that the conservatives could get behind, but then the moderates who could win in the suburbs. And, the problem you and I have talked in the past about abortion, and that this was like, the Republicans have been chasing that car for a long time. And then finally the dog caught the car. Well, the theory was Youngkin had a new message on abortion that could appeal to the suburbs and they could win on. And that message was clearly and roundly repudiated last night, both in Virginia and Ohio. And so not only did they catch the car, Joe, the car blew up on them. And so now everyone is sitting here saying, what are we going to say about abortion? Because the message we thought we had just didn't work in a place that we all thought it should. And Youngkin is going to take a whole bunch of that responsibility from a whole bunch of very angry Republicans today.
Well, yeah, he was upfront about it. He told people that if Republicans took power, they would implement a 15-week ban. So let's extrapolate this. You're preparing a 24 campaign for president, or you're advising it, Jim Messina. What did you learn last night that you might not have known otherwise that you can actionalize in the next year?
Two things. One, it's interesting to look at who turned out last night. There wasn't massive turnout in these places. Both parties didn't get the historic turnout they got in the last couple elections. What that means is that both parties are going to have to worry a little bit more about turning out their own voters. And the second thing, which you and I just talked about, Joe, is I think both parties were waiting to see if abortion was still an issue. It clearly was an issue in Dobbs. It clearly was an issue in the 2022 midterms. But, there was some view in both parties that maybe that issue had gone away. Not gone away. Absolutely. Yeah. Look at the Ohio numbers, 13 points. Like, nothing passes by 13 points. It passed by more than the free weed initiative. Like, come on. And then Pennsylvania Supreme Court race last night, and then in all those Virginia Loudoun County seats. So the other thing I learned is both parties are going to be talking about abortion next year as well.